Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tarot Thursday. I'm your host, Reverend Mary Hawk, and welcome. Welcome to everyone who's joining. Go ahead and post a hello in the chat room. Tell me where you're from. And if you've got a question, go ahead and post it, and I'll do a 3-card, more or less, reading. So I hope everyone's had a good week. It's been a good week for me. And hello to Elle. Good to see you. Thank you for joining me. And if you've got a question, go ahead and post it in the chat. And I just now realized I set the time for 8:45 Central instead of 9, so I apologize if I confused anyone. But welcome. And Elle is in West Virginia, not that far. I am in Tennessee, near Nashville. So, and hello to Reverend Dawn. Good to see you in the chat room. So if you have a question, go ahead and post it. And a little bit of tarot trivia while we're waiting on questions. Something I find absolutely fascinating. And hello to Jazz. No one knows where the tarot comes from. That has always absolutely fascinated me. We can trace the origin of playing cards. They originated in the court of the Emperor of China and moved to India and moved through the Middle East to Egypt and into Italy. But we're not quite sure when people started using them for divination. Isn't that fascinating? At some point in Italy, during the 14th or 15th century. And Reverend Dawn says, happy birthday, Jazz. So happy birthday, Jazz. And Jazz asks what things are coming for me. Alrighty then. Let me get shuffled up here. And yes, Elle, I'll do a general reading for you next. And Jazz is clarifying what good things are coming in for you. All right, what good things are coming in for Jazz? Excuse me, and that really doesn't count as an escapee. That was just too many cards flying out. All right, Jazz. Okay, so first card I've got is the Two of Wands. And here we see a young man looking off at a distant city. So this is about a new enterprise. You're thinking about something new. You're planning it, and this is a good time to do it. So if you've got something in mind to start, now is a good time. And here we've got the Tower card. And I love the way it's depicted in this deck. A lot of times it looks very scary, but here we see a woman breaking out of a confining situation, and she's growing butterfly wings. So this is about change and transformation. So be prepared for a lot of change and transformation coming your way. And we've got the Prince of Cups. So, of course, cups are around our emotions. And the princes are around air. So this is about communications around your emotions. So be sure you're communicating clearly. And Jazz says, so I just got a new job at Marshall's after I got the interview, and I start sometimes next week, and I'm so happy about this new job. And it looks like this job is going to be a wonderful opportunity for you. And adds, that's so funny. I keep seeing a reference to a butterfly every time after I put in 2 weeks at my current job. And you know, butterflies are about transformation because as a caterpillar, they go into the chrysalis where they basically turn into goo, and then they come out a butterfly. And Elle says, congratulations to you. So, this is going to be a wonderful opportunity for you. Congratulations. All right, and now it is Elle's turn. And let's see. Elle asked for a general reading over the next few months. So let me shuffle the cards for Elle. And Jazz says, thanks, Elle. And if anyone else has a question for me, go ahead and post it in the chat, please. And I will go ahead and add, I was talking about the history of tarot. We know about playing cards development a lot because of different records of laws going on the books against gambling, or court records of people being charged with gambling and being fined or given light jail sentences for them. So we have those records, but nothing really about their use in divination. So let's see what I get here for Elle. All right. So the first card I get for you is the Six of Cups, cups being around our emotions, of course. And with the Six of Cups, this indicates that someone from your past will come back into your life or at least reach out to you. Now, this could be an old friend, it could be an old romance, and how you deal with that person is up to you. Next, we have the Queen of Cups, and this is about being in a good place emotionally. You're happy with the life you've created for yourself, and you have several good relationships in your life. This could be romantic partner, this could be good friendships, this could be family relationships. But you are in, when it comes to the relationships with the people around you, you are in a good position. And finally, I have the Body. And this card shows the ensouled planet, Gaia, the Earth as a whole. And it's talking about how everything on Earth is connected. We are a web of interdependent relationships on our planet. And when this card comes up, it means to consider the unintended consequences of your decisions. That what you're thinking about is going to affect other things in ways you might not have considered. So I'm going to pull a clarification card, and this suggests there could be some heartbreak or at least some regret in your future. So consider your decisions carefully. And hello to John in the chat, who says, hello, everyone. I finally got a presentation of these streams live, and we're so happy to see you. Okay, and Anissa asks, will my god sisters ever reconcile with me? We had a horrible fight in 2018. So, Anissa, let's put a time limit on this. Let's ask if they will reconcile with you in the next 6 months. And hello to Carlotta. Good to see you. You are welcome, Elle. Okay, Anissa, let's see what we get here. All right, first card I've got, I think represents you. This is the King of Pentacles, which represents being in a good position because of good planning. Then we've got the Five of Swords, which represents the conflict that you had. But then we have the Sun, which is a good outcome. So I'm going to say that if you want to reconcile with them, you are in a good position to reach out to them. So try reaching out and telling them you would like to reconcile with them. And I wish you the best. All right. And does anyone else have a question for me? You are welcome, Anissa. Hope that helps. Also, the first decks, whether they were playing decks or tarot cards, had to be hand painted and were most likely made to order, so they were very, very expensive. And hello to Jade Rising. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. So, if anyone has a question, we can please go ahead and throw that out. Although I've got one, so I'm going to do a reading. Are we likely to have snow for Thanksgiving here in the southeast of the United States? I've heard a couple of people talking about it, so I'm curious. I'd really prefer not to, but I wonder what the odds are. John, I am out over several Facebook channels and 2 YouTube channels. Corellian TV, Divination TV, my personal Facebook page. So, yes, it is. All right. Well, for snow for Thanksgiving in the southeast, I got the Chariot, which means things move fast. I got the Three of Pentacles, which usually means being acknowledged for your work. And I got the Emperor, which is to remind me that the cycles of time always change. And if I don't like what happens, well, it's going to change. I'm inclined to think it means I'm going to get snowed in with my family, and they're going to admire my cooking. Yeah, that's how I'm reading it. The snow's going to come in fast. I'm going to get snowed in with my family, whether or not I like it, and they're going to tell me what a good cook I am. We'll see what happens. As a reminder, we will not have Tarot Thursday on Thanksgiving because I will have cooked Thanksgiving dinner and eaten Thanksgiving dinner, and I will be sleeping off the turkey by this hour of the evening. All right, Jade Rising says, should I let my parents back into my life? Well, I can pull some cards for you, Jade, and I will. But while I'm shuffling, I want you to consider, why did you cut them out of your life? You had reasons to do that. Probably very good reasons. Has anything changed to make you reconsider those reasons? Because if someone is causing harm to you in your life and you decide you would be better off without them, then you have to believe that they're no longer going to cause harm, whether it's emotional harm, physical harm, financial harm, whatever someone's doing that makes you decide to cut them out of your life. If you're going to let them back in your life, you need to have very good reason to believe they're not going to repeat that destructive behavior. Or you don't need to let them back in your life. And just because they're family, or just because you had a long history with that person, is not enough reason to let them back in. But we'll see what the cards have to say. And just because everyone is saying, but they're your parents, is not enough reason to let them back in either. Alrighty, what do the cards have for Jade? All right, well, we've got death. And death in this case means rebirth, or starting over in a new direction. I've got the Eight of Lamps, which in this deck also means start over in a new direction. And I've got the Ten of Wands, which means you're ending one cycle and starting a new one. So, the only way you should let your parents back in your life is if you are starting a totally new cycle with them. Otherwise, don't repeat the same cycle you had before with them. If you can't start afresh, it isn't going to work. So I hope that's helpful. Okay, does anyone else have a question for me? All right. Well, I do want to remind you that if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can do so at divinationtv.com, your destination for all things divination. Well, Jay, it was kind of scary, but that is what the cards have to say. So I hope you find it helpful. So, does anybody else have a question for me this evening? Hey, SWAT fan, good to see you. How are you doing? And Elle says, good luck to you, Jade. All right. Does anyone else have any questions for me this evening? And SWAT fan wants a reading for career and finances. All righty. Let me get the card shuffled up for you. All right, let's see what the cards have to say. Glad to see you're doing good. Alrighty, so first card I've got for you is the Three of Cups. So that shows you're celebrating, having a party with your family and friends. I've got the Princess of Swords, swords being around communication, and the princess always advises careful communication. So, when it comes to matters around your career, be careful you're communicating carefully about what you want and what you're trying to achieve. And finally, I've got Temperance, where we see the person here is both male and female, a white and a person of color in both the day and night. So this is about balance, and it's also taking many small pieces and from them making something entirely new, where the sum of the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So, especially related to your career, be willing to think out of the box and try something new and different. Or if you are working right now, look for ways you can innovate at work. So I hope that's helpful. All right. So who is next? Go ahead and post your question in chat. So, anyone else got a question for me tonight? All right. Well, if no one has a question, I am going to go ahead and wrap it up. Please join me next week for Tarot Thursday, where Reverend Dawn will be my special guest. I want to thank you all for joining me. Everyone have a great evening, and y'all blessed be.